Hello, everyone. I hope you had such a Merry Christmas yesterday. The crazy thing about being in the year of our Lord 2024 is all the stuff that went on. I couldn't even believe half of this happened this year. Everything from the movies that came out to the weird things that were happening in the news, politics, music, all of it combined. It was a crazy year, and we're here to recap it all. It is time to spill some sweet tea. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm joined today by one of my best friends, Miss Emma Gibson. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, friend.
I could think of no one better to run with. I literally just made a list of things that happened this year, and we're going to be talking about all of them. And I knew no one else who'd be into all of the same nerdy kinds of things to be able to speak about them, and then a little bit more into the music scene so you can add the context there.
It's basically just going to be like we're hanging out like normal.
It is. Is this where we start our spinoff and we do our own show?
Maybe. I don't know where the camera is, where to look, right? To be like, no.
No, I think even a few days ago we were like, what was this? The idea you
Yes.
had?
I had an idea. What did I call it? Oh, it was so good.
Was it Texas Chicks? Or no, it was Tex Sis.
Tex
like sister.
Sis, because it was like Tex Sister. Yes. And I was like, we'll just talk because we're so interesting that people want to listen to us.
Yeah, but we talk about nonsense. And this,
we do.
Actually, speaking about nonsense, we'll get into Sabrina Carpenter later.
Oh, that was a wonderful segue.
Before we get into that, we have sweet tea here today, and we have our fun glasses because it's New Year's.
So fun.
Do you want to try cheersing a little bit with that?
A little cheers.
Yay! New Year's cheers.
I love it.
Okay, are you ready to talk about the entire 2024 year?
I think I am.
Okay.
There's so much I forgot that happened. So
So like 2 nights ago, we were just like chit-chatting about like all the crazy stuff that happened. And we found this one article that was saying, can you believe when 2024 started that Ron DeSantis and Chris Christie were both still running for president? That feels like 2 years ago.
That feels forever ago.
And also they were running against Joe Biden. I think no one at the beginning of 2024 could predict that Kamala Harris, like that the ticket you're voting on would end up being Kamala Harris versus the guy who manned the fry stations at McDonald's. Like,
yes.
Where did we go, man?
Where did we go?
Yeah.
Where did we go?
But maybe this is the year about the American dream of even the guy who drives the trash,
the garbage truck.
Yeah.
He can make it. That was so iconic. That's the one thing I really want to talk about this year is the power of podcasts and good social media in this campaign was so fun to watch. So fun.
I think both sides at least recognize that that's where people are now, is on podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's why Kamala did the Call Her Daddy podcast. Did you hear how much they spent to make that studio?
It was like $1 million.
I think it was like $100,000, but to recreate a studio because she wouldn't go fly over there. But anyway,
still,
did it work? Maybe not.
$100,000 seems insane to build a studio for a one-time.
Yeah, maybe it was
podcast?
more than that. It was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money, and for a
how they
podcast
made it
that you're
look.
like how.
But Call Her Daddy
reach?
was one of the bigger ones, isn't it? Like I think it's the largest female podcast right now.
I guess, but also too, like statistically, they already had that group in the bag, I would think. You know what I mean? So did they really think that was going to switch anybody over? Like that was the cool thing about like Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, like Trump going on those, JD Vance going on those, which were also really good. Because I think you get a little more of a mix. I mean, I would say that those podcasts are mostly men watching, but I mean, there's plenty of men who are watching those who probably lean more like, I would say, into libertarian or even like more like liberal.
They also might just be like the centrist, like I don't care that much. Yeah. All I want is for people to like be nice to each other, and I just want to live my normal life and listen to Joe Rogan talk about aliens.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And suddenly those got like the campaigns managed to turn those into votes by going on the podcast.
Yeah.
But then the other thing where podcasts really shaped the culture this year are the rise of all the health podcasts that have come out. So like I think the raw milk craze and stuff like that. And then that ended up bleeding into like the elections a little bit with the Amish and stuff
and the
too.
Amish, that's right. The Amish.
So that's where I'm like, whoa, this year's all connected in really weird ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Amish, the raw milk. I think I even mentioned that I was on like we did, like at the Texas Public Policy Foundation, we'd had like an election night thing, and that was one of the reviews I was giving, was just how weird of a demographic the campaigns were able to go after because of those cultural things that came up.
It was really strange.
Like how many girls do you know that like tried out one of the like newer diets where they're cutting, like whether it be like the red dye 40 stuff or like I did animal based this year and tried it.
Oh yeah, you did, and a bunch of other girls that like we hang out with have done that. I would say the animal based one is like the one that I hear the most that people are doing.
Right.
But even then, I think people are way more careful now about like what kind of dyes are in their food, or just, you know, trying to get more authentic, like real food versus super processed packaged stuff. I think that has become way
right. Like I think end of last year people were saying, hey, seed oils might be bad, and then everyone this year is like, hey, seed oils suck.
Yeah, seed oils are
Try to stay away.
terrible, and
Yeah.
processed sugar, and I mean, I don't know, everything that's processed. Like, why can my food last for a year? Like, you know,
Maybe
people
it's
are
not
asking
good for
questions.
me.
Maybe
I
it's
don't
not good
know.
for me.
Actually, something else that's funny, just like with not just what's in our food, but how we're storing them and like how that's causing it. One of the attorneys upstairs, he was asking Kate. So Kate's also been on the show,
Yeah.
but he was like, Kate, were you the one telling me about fuzz? And she's like, what? He's like, PFAs, like puzz, or I
Oh, PFAs, yeah, right. Isn't that like? Am I thinking plastic?
Yes,
Is that
that's in the plastic
stuff?
thing.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I don't think that's how you say it, Chance, but you're learning.
Yeah.
But it is such, again, it's weird how all of those things are coming
Came together this year and kind of culminated in the election.
Right.
Really weird.
And then the other, I kind of want to start back with going through some of the movies that came out this year, because I forgot how many of these happened this year. And I think because like after COVID, it took a while to get back to the box office. And there was like
100%.
the big Barbenheimer last year. And now we're like looking at the big screen again. So let's go through some of that. So we started the year with Dune 2. Can you believe Dune 2 came out this year though?
Oh, it was so good. I'm such a nerd for Dune. But yes, it is weird that it came out this year. And didn't it come out? When did it come out? What month?
I thought that was January, wasn't it?
No, I thought it was like, was it like
later?
March, like spring, or like early summer maybe?
See, this is where we need to be like Joe Rogan and get Jamie
Yeah,
to
we
be
need,
like,
like, a
Jamie, what year did
Well, what month did it come out? But yeah,
Next time we'll get Jefferson and Mike so he can give us the
that'd be great.
the background.
That'd be great, Jefferson.
But okay, so many people were anti-Dune 2. You and I are both pro.
We're very pro.
And we've also both read the books, so we can speak about it without just...
Yeah.
Also, what's her name? Florence.
Florence Pugh.
Yes.
She's been in so
like
many
her, though.
movies. How does she have
Yeah.
time to be in this
and
many
Timothy
movies this year?
Chalamet and her just like
Every
keep
movie
following each
it's
other.
just they choose those two. They're like the popular, you know, kids right now for all movies.
Yeah, kind of. But then the other thing that like while all these movies are going on ends up being like a lot of like red carpet stuff that's back out again. So like for that movie, Zendaya I think was one of the ones to pioneer dressing up to match your movie. So she did like that robot looking outfit.
That wild
Wait,
metal
you look like
outfit.
you hate it.
Yeah, it wasn't really. It looked weird. I was not a fan. I was not
Emma,
a fan.
this is 1995 from a couture collection.
Why can't we just go back to like nice gowns? You know, when people would go to the red carpet and they looked like human beings and not robots, or what was it?
Because she's in a sci-fi film.
I understand, but still, like, I mean, no.
But you want women to look pretty or something
Yes,
instead.
I want them to look like human beings, like not a robot or something. I don't know. But also, what was it? Okay, I was thinking, is it Doja Cat? Wasn't she like dressed up crazy this year too?
That was
or was that the year before?
No, I think that was the year before, and I think that was at the Met Gala where she was the cat thing.
Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah.
that was the year before that.
That's
was
what I'm
a
saying.
little bit
That
weird.
seems to be like a trend, and I don't like it.
Yeah,
I'm like, I mean, you can
yeah.
have like something themed to your movie. I feel like people have done that for a while, but this was odd. I feel like it
But
was
Zendaya
reminiscent.
kind of pulled it off. I couldn't pull it off.
Well, I could not pull it off. Yeah, of course. I mean, if anybody's gonna pull it off, it's her.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I don't know.
So going along with the theme thing, I really think Zendaya was the one to start pioneering that, and you saw that when she was first like doing the Spider-Man stuff. So she started
That's
matching
right.
them.
Yeah.
And then other people kept doing it. But like she was in that Challengers movie that also came out this year, which is that tennis one. Love the red carpet outfits. The plot looked weird, so I didn't want to watch it.
I didn't see it. Yeah,
You know what it
I
was
saw
about?
so many memes. I've heard what it's about, so I
I'll
felt
just
like
say
maybe
that
it's
there's
not.
maybe romance isn't the right word, but it involves 3 people, and I don't want to talk about
All
it.
right.
I don't want to talk
Yeah,
about that
I
one.
think I saw some stuff. I saw some memes, and I was like, I think I'm good. I think I'm not going to see that one. I feel like this was the year where I actually weirdly didn't see a lot of movies. I saw Dune.
Right.
I
And then,
saw what else?
did you end up going to see Reagan?
No,
I didn't get to see that one either.
Reagan.
You
I
saw
feel like-
Deadpool though, right?
I did see Deadpool.
Okay, so I did watch Deadpool Wolverine. I love the Deadpool movies so much. Well,
I say
we're
something
both terrible
crazy?
because we like that kind of humor.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that humor. But can I say this was like I think the first Deadpool movie I've actually sat all the way through. I know everyone is shocked when I say that, and even my parents because they're like, "Haven't you watched them?" Because okay, they love those movies.
Well, also you're that kind of humor. We
Yes,
we bond
100%.
over South Park, which is probably not normal, but we
But
are
yeah.
worse people for it.
That's our humor. So yeah, it is weird that I haven't seen them, but I liked this one. I thought it was fun. It had I thought of you when I saw it because it had
Why?
the guy from what is it? The remake of Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Darcy. Did you realize that that's
Yes,
him?
it is.
Yes.
And actually, while I
Yes.
was watching it, so we watched it. I didn't watch it until after it finally was released on Disney Plus. I was late to it, and that's because I didn't watch Deadpool movies until this year. And Tony, my husband, showed them to me. But we were sitting next to each other in the living room when we're watching it, and then Mr. Darcy comes out. And I'm like, oh, it's Mr. Darcy. He's like, who's Mr. Darcy? He doesn't even know.
Uncultured. He doesn't understand.
Yeah, so Mr. Darcy is back. That's Deadpool.
That's a good thing.
The other weird thing that happened with that movie, though, is this was coming out, and actually going back to the red carpet stuff, Blake Lively, her movie, which was It Ends With Us, was also a big thing because it was based on a book series, so all the book girlies were coming back out to movies, so that's a thing that, you remember like when the young adult novels going to big screens was a whole thing.
Yes.
Like even Fault in Our Stars and all the other stuff.
And Divergent and Hunger Games.
So it felt a little bit like a tribute to our, well, for us it was like middle school era.
It's just all those girls who grew up and are now reading new books, and they just decided they're going to make those in a movie.
So those were happening at the same time. So there was like the whole thing, the controversy, because Blake, going along with this trend for Deadpool Wolverine, she's, she had the cute like red outfit. I think it was Gigi Hadid who was there in the yellow.
I think so.
But she's like for Deadpool Wolverine, because it's a fun movie, they're doing all those like fun internet ads. But for her movie, trying to get on that kind of trend, is doing all the floral looks, being like, "Where are your florals, girls?" And they're advertising this movie to look like it's going to be another Notebook. And then it's actually a movie about domestic violence and abuse. Yeah. And that was maybe a bad call. And she kind of got totally reamed for it. Yeah.
I had never, I've never read those books. And I had no clue. I thought it was gonna be a Notebook thing too. And then when everybody was like putting clips of it out there, I was like, what is this movie? So very strange.
So I finally actually watched it last week as well. Again, waiting for things to come out because it came out on Netflix finally. So I watched it. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. And even though it takes place in a floral shop, even the florals in the movie are like,
see, I didn't
they're
know
not even that like beautiful.
Yeah,
like that's why I
know
it had florals. Anyway, I need you to watch more movies before you come back next year.
Yeah, maybe I was the wrong person to talk about movies with, but I liked Dune, and I liked that was really it. I feel like it's so weird because normally I am a movie girl, but this year I was just like, there hasn't been a whole bunch, and I don't.
We also didn't watch. Maybe we just need to go together because then Reagan came out. I didn't get to watch it, but a lot of people really loved it. I think that's cool that's something coming back. Gladiator 2, I heard was fine. I don't think it's worthwhile.
It was kind of just like the same thing as the first.
Yeah, and maybe it's just weird because of how expensive movies are getting. I just have it has to seem good enough for me to spend money. And by the time this episode airs, I probably will have watched Wicked already. My sister wants to watch it with me. You probably wouldn't like it, but I'm a musical theater girl.
I like musicals. I don't know why Wicked has never grabbed me.
Oh,
you know
what
I mean? Because I like musicals, but I have loved all the press for this movie and all of the terrible the interviews.
Well, it's funny.
It's
so
funny.
cringy.
But okay,
where they're like holding hands.
They're like
I know we're close friends, but we're not going to be
like holding hands, and they're like, we're holding space
for the queer community.
For what was it? For
defying gravity.
For defying gravity. But I watched a thing, I think yesterday actually, where they were interviewing Ariana Grande, and who plays
Cynthia something, I think. Anyway, but yeah,
they were interviewing them, and they were both like, we were so confused. We had no clue what it meant. But it was like one of those things where it's like, what are you gonna do? You don't want to like embarrass them, and say I have no clue what your question means.
So so that was our end of the year weird thing that happened with the movie. Other one I just want to throw out is Beetlejuice, because while I was scrolling through like reels this year, the Beetlejuice soundtrack just kept coming up. We talked about the red carpet stuff. TV shows, just a quick gloss over. The show everybody needs to watch, Penguin.
Yeah, you love that.
Penguin,
you love that.
Was amazing, phenomenal. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen, and I think it may have been the best show in like at least the last half decade.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Do you have HBO?
Yeah, I have HBO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone came over to my house and like left their login, so that's finally how I watched.
Well, then there you go.
Other show that was big for the girlies, which I decided to be a good person this year, not watch, Bridgerton season 3. I just have to mention it happened.
Yeah, it happened. I think I watched like 5 minutes of it because that's probably
the only thing you can
actually watch, and probably the only part that has plot. So yeah, I watched
wearing stuff still.
Yeah, I watched about like 5 minutes of it.
Yeah.
But also the plot, I don't understand it. Maybe I'm just not the girly for it, but I'm like, I feel like it's trying to be Pride and Prejudice.
Yes, that was the thing I was going to compare it to.
I'm like, it's that like Pride and Prejudice Emma stuff, which that's why I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Right.
I'll try.
But it's Gossip Girl though.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes. You're like, this
Did you
is
watch
not
Gossip Girl
Mr.
growing up?
Darcy or Mr. Knightley anymore. No, I never watched Gossip Girl.
See, that's
I'm,
where
like, maybe
it would have been the
terrible
show
on
for me if it was more like less the way that it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
Anyway, so other stuff
Crazy. Didn't watch
happening.
that one. Yeah, yeah.
So this is kind of going to get back to the way that the cultural stuff and the political landscape started to intersect, which was because of music this year.
Yes, music was, I felt like, really big this year.
Yeah, so last year was like, I think just Taylor Swift Eras Tour was the only like, who else was big last year?
I feel like
right?
Taylor Swift also kind of bled into this year because she just finished that tour.
Because she did all the European stuff.
Yeah.
But she's the one who launched one of the bigger people like for this year, which is Sabrina Carpenter.
That's right.
By having her originally. But before we go to Sabrina, the summer thing that was huge this year, Charlie XCX.
Brat Summer.
What were your feelings at now that we were able to like reflect on Brat Summer? What are your thoughts, Emma?
What are my deep thoughts on Brat Summer? I just thought it was a lot of green. That's my deep thought.
Kind of. So last year I made this comment when we did our like end of year review, and I was saying 2023 was the year of the girl. We had friendship bracelets. We were all just being like friends again. We were like going back to that kind of era of our lives. And I said my prediction was 2024 is going to be the year of the woman. Like people are going to grow up a little bit. I thought maybe Taylor Swift would eventually get engaged and that would create that kind of phenomenon. I don't think we got quite there.
No.
But do I think we got into like angsty teen years? So we're
100%.
not like making friendship bracelets, but we're having Brat Summer.
We're in that weird like middle school time where like neon is really a thing.
Oh
like,
my goodness.
Like highlighter colors.
Because you remember like the green and pink were huge.
Oh yeah.
This year Wicked was green and pink. Coincidence? I don't know.
We're in neon times again. Like, you know, back in the day where like it was like the guys were cool if they had like a highlighter shirt on and a hat that matched their highlighter shirt. Like that was like, whoa, like peak fashion.
Yeah.
Well, that's where we're at again.
But you know how this year, I think more than ever before, the political world and the cultural world are now like intersecting, like alternate universe that shouldn't be touching, that just ram into each other. So like calling Kamala Brat and getting into that kind of thing. But it's so weird. Her jumping on the train for the election happened at the same time as Brat Summer.
Yeah.
So just weird parallels.
It's so weird.
But then people jump off of that at the same time as like, it's funny the girls had their summer fun, and this is where I'm like, oh, maybe we're evolving going to later teen years because now we're very demure, very mindful. A little cutesy.
A little cutesy. That was probably one of my favorite trends of this
so
year.
too.
I think it's just one of the most like quotable ones.
Yes.
That and the recent I like my suitcase. Have you seen that one on
No.
TikTok? Oh my gosh, it's young Barron Trump. And they're interviewing
Again,
him.
the world's colliding,
It's
man.
so funny. And yeah, that's another thing, like TikTok and stuff this year with all the sounds. Like I would say with like all the Brat Summer stuff.
Wait, go to the suitcase one. What happened
Oh, I'm
in it?
sorry. Yeah, so so there recently it's really popped up on TikTok. There's all these videos, and it stems from the original interview with like Barron Trump when he was really young, Melania and then Donald Trump. And it's him hanging out with Melania, and they're getting him ready for school, and they're like, he just has like a little rolly bag, and he's like, I like my suitcase, because he has like a bit of an accent, because I guess he was hanging out with his mom so much when he was young, and so he says that, and then he's like, so they're talking about like getting ready for school, and he's like, we have lunch now, and it's just like, it's so funny, but it's all over like everything. And I feel like most people are using it weirdly in sentences. Like if you pick up your bag, you're like, I like my suitcase. Anyway, that's my weird cultural, I feel like, yes, but worlds colliding, those like that sound has really become a thing recently. But I would say, yeah, during the Brat Summer stuff, all of that with Kamala and the coconut thing was big.
The coconut one was huge.
Fall out of a coconut tree. Like you just
and
fell
what
out
I
of a
found
coconut
so
tree.
funny about those, and it kind of felt like the political tension in some ways was more diffused this year, and maybe
It became
came after
funny.
the
Yeah, it just
right, but
became
maybe
funny.
came after the shooting, because I felt like that was a turning point. But whatever it was after that, it felt like all of a sudden people were more open about it, or at least just more like, hey guys, maybe we can just make jokes. So like the coconut tree, everyone, no matter what side you're on, there were jokes about it.
The
was so
coconut
funny.
tree, also when people did the TikTok remixes of they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. That was so good. That song.
Both of them made some good
People
good
were in
stuff this
clubs
year.
like with that song in the background. So yes, culture and like an election, this year, and all the culture stuff coming together was kind of my favorite
And
thing.
then the fall kind of finished it out. So
Yeah.
like, I'm not sure if you saw that there were like football players who were doing their celebration dance, and they were doing like the Trump one.
Yes.
Oh, and then that reminds me, another thing that I saw on the football field this year, and that happened this summer, the Olympics were this year.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I totally
But the reason I
forgot.
remember, do you remember that breakdance girl that happened?
Oh my goodness, yes.
So the breakdance girl, there was someone who, like, oh, I can't remember what team it was, but someone scored a touchdown and like he celebrated.
He
and
did it perfectly.
Yes.
Yes.
That was one of the best
Like,
things I've
how
seen
many
this year.
times do you have to watch that in order to do it? Because it's not like, I feel like her moves are so off and bad that I don't feel like it would be something that comes
Easy to remember?
natural
No.
or like, yeah, be easy to remember.
It was almost impressive
It
how
was.
bad it was
It was really rough.
for Australia.
But kind of with the whole thing of like the girl thing, I feel like what's her name? I can never.
Alana Mar.
Yes, I always mess up saying her first name. I love her.
I do
feel
too.
like
And then
she's
she did
been
Dancing
very-
with the Stars too afterwards.
Yes.
Mhm. So do you actually? This is going to talk about next year prediction. Which dating show is she going to end up being
Oh
on?
my
You know
goodness.
she has to be, right?
She would be so fun as like the Bachelorette. Right, like the Bachelorette. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
no,
She would
as
be
the
as the
Bachelorette, yes.
Bachelorette. She would be so.
So because I've only seen like 2 seasons of The Bachelor. Do they alternate when they're on, or how does that work?
Okay, so I really only watched that during college. That was very much like that time.
Sorority Girl Emma
Sorority
definitely
Girl
would've been into
Emma
it.
definitely watched that with my with all my sisters. Yeah, I think it switches off. And I think it's at different times of the year. And then they do like a
Right.
Bachelor in Paradise thing
Because they need something to do with all the extras who
with
got,
all the
yeah,
yes,
or the ones
exactly.
who didn't make it
Yes,
but make good TV, I guess.
but make good
Yeah.
TV, and then sometimes they reappear.
Right, but
Yeah.
apparently Dancing with the Stars numbers went way up because of Alana.
Yeah.
And for context, I guess she's the rugby player who like was, even though she's like this really built girl, she was like having fun being girly, always talking about the villa, the Olympic villa
Yes.
instead of the Olympic Village.
And her sister are the ones who made that whole girl dinner craze. You know, when people talk about girl dinner, they are the ones who really started that. Fun fact.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that before the Olympics this year?
I think that was before.
Yeah.
I think that was before. Yeah. But yeah, they just like are funny. And I think that's why
Yeah.
all their stuff picks up. So
Yeah,
I'm a
but
big fan.
so that was happening this year, and then you know how we were talking about going into like from the Brat summer into very demure cutesy. I felt like that was also paralleling like some of the people's like caring about health and like what they're eating, how they're eating, and that's also like continuing to feed the uptrend of people wanting to like have homesteads and like make their
Yeah.
own food. And so I feel like the demure cutesy leans into that, which is also why like the ballerina farm happening that right after
oh,
that.
that's right. I totally
I think that
forgot
that's
that
what made
even
her
happened.
big, too.
Was that in fall?
Yeah,
that what happened in fall?
That was like I think right. I felt like in my mind it happened right after the Olympics. That would have been like fall.
That's crazy.
So that's another like just it's a weird trend how that's like shaping how people live and the things that they care about.
Yeah.
And so going from that like the Brat stuff, but even being into the like Alana Mar being this person who's all about like her fitness things. I think that also blends into that increase in like people caring about their health.
Yeah.
And that's why something like Ballerina Farm is popular, because she's making all of her own stuff at home and having her farm, and that things that people are aspiring to now. So
Yeah. And it's funny because that all kind of leads toward this like sort of
right,
trad
and then context
thing, so-
again, because Ballerina Farm is the person who she and her husband are farmers because she was a ballerina farm.
Yeah.
But basically this one reporter who came to report on them and just talk about their lives kind of portrayed her husband as being abusive because
yeah,
she's
and
in
like
that
really
situation.
controlling as
Right,
well
which-
or something.
Right, and the what's her name? But the girl who's like the ballerina farmer
Yeah.
was very much like, no, that's not my life. I have all these kids. I love my family, and I wanted to pursue this. So
Yeah.
just because I'm not dancing doesn't mean
And
I'm
I
not.
followed her
living
for
that up.
like I feel like a year or two now, and that's always kind of been you know her vibe is that kind of like rural, you know, keeping her home and all of that and doing all that stuff. Yeah. So I don't feel like that was anything new. I feel like she always talked about how much she liked that. And she was actually popular. I feel like was that the beginning of this year because she won like a Mrs. like you know how there's like Miss
Yes.
America. She won like the
Mrs.
version
one
or
for, and
something
I think
like
it's
that.
for a state or something. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was the beginning of the year.
And she talked about how much she loved being a mom and she
Right.
like, you know, so that's been like her trend. So I was so confused when all that came out. I don't think I even read the story because I was like, I followed this for like 2 years and I feel like we would have been able to tell. But I mean,
that's another reason though why I think that there's a little bit more, I guess, tolerance with how people are speaking to each other now. And I think part of it's because now that people are challenging other norms, like about how we eat and how we do things, it then leads everyone to being like, actually, sometimes maybe we have been wrong about what kind of lifestyles we should lead, like what things that the government are supporting. And so I think that uptick in people who are wanting to just do farming stuff, regardless of your political identity, sometimes it overlaps with a lot of conservatives in the space.
Yeah.
And I think that started opening up a little bit more. I think a calming of like how we speak to each other. And
I totally think so. Because I think too, it's just become like natural things that everybody cares about, where it's like, yeah, we all like, we want to be healthy and be able to like live our lives, and we want our kids to have healthy food, and it's all things like I think a lot of people can agree on. So maybe that's also why things have it feels like things have really calmed down.
Right. But even with like the healthier eating and all that kind of stuff, there's a cultural trend that happened this year that I hope stops and ends here and we never like mention again or ever bring back. And that is low-rise jeans.
I'm done. I have such strong feelings about low-rise jeans.
I'm okay with us having even like, well, you know me, I'm not a mom jeans kind of girl, but I can do a boot cut. I'll live with some like other cuts.
I love a good boot cut, but not low rise. I mean, I feel like low rise was a thing when you and I were probably like middle school,
right? And even a little bit earlier, middle school started to change.
Yeah, like in Disney Channel era of like I would say was that probably like
we were
grade,
in the
grade.
like bright color low rise jean era.
Yeah.
Right. But before that, like I think early 2000s was very low rise.
Yeah.
And maybe something's long in the past.
And layers. Like if they bring back, like at this point, if they're going to do the low rise thing, like do the layered thing. Like, what was it?
Are you talking about the cami underneath the like sweater?
Yes. And I've seen that becoming a thing again. I don't understand why like the 2000s fashion is really coming back. Like there's some good things, I guess, maybe we could keep. But like, I feel like they're bringing back like, the Ashley Tisdale thing where she had like a pair of like the flare
jeans underneath her
that
dress?
were low cut. But then, she had it under a dress. And it was all the chevron print and the brown and the blue.
No, chevron needs to die too.
Chevron's dead.
Like leave it in the ground. It's not going to become a zombie.
I haven't seen that come back. So I'm thankful
I'd be
for
fine
that.
with something like Converse. Can we compromise there? Leave the low-rise jeans, maybe bring back Converse. What do you think about like the one shoulder thing? Like where you had the sweater with the one shoulder? I liked it. That was my take and I miss it.
I'm okay with it. I feel like that's always been a thing. I don't feel like that's ever gone away.
It kind of did. It just depended on like how you hung them, because remember for like the early 2000s it was really like
the
tilted
hardcore
off.
tilted off, like tilted.
I was into it.
That's fine. It's
better than a low rise
as long as the low rise doesn't come back. And the I don't like the statement piece things, like the big statement necklaces and the chevron. No, but you know what type of statement necklaces I'm talking about. Like when you would walk in a charming no, not the owl ones, or the mustache things and stuff like that. Yeah,
we don't need
the mustache stuff to come back. But like if you'd go into a Charming Charlie's, which I'm not hating on Charming Charlie's, I actually kind of miss it. Did you ever have one of those?
No, I don't think we had it. So being in the Rio Grande Valley, we had nothing, and you were here in the California one instead. So
they were fantastic.
So there's Charming Charlie's is like a jewelry.
Okay, so Charming Charlie's was like everything, but they'd have it like color. Sorry, I don't mean to tap that. They'd have it color coordinated, and so you would walk in, and it was kind of great because if you're like, hey, I have this like outfit and I need like this sort of color and this sort of like length of necklace and just accessories, I literally know exactly where to go. So that was nice, but I think they like went bankrupt, but I've seen them slowly coming back this year. So
with statement necklaces?
No, not with statement necklaces, but just like accessory stuff. But back in the day, they were like the place to go. I felt like in my town, if you needed a statement necklace.
I will support the statement necklace. I will not support the stupid skinny scarf. And also fedora hats can stay dead. I'm just scared these all came together. So hopefully not for next year.
None of that for 2025.
My predictions for 2025 is we're going to be smart enough to not do that. Okay. I also want to get into animals of the year.
Yes.
Top animals of the year. Peanut the squirrel.
Oh, all right.
Number one. Rest in peace, Peanut. I actually was at a Christmas party because we're airing this we're recording this before Christmas, and there was someone who had a Justice for Peanut shirt.
Oh my gosh.
That was part of the white elephant
thing.
That's
so fast that they got that out there.
Hey, things move fast now, man.
Yeah.
But may Peanut rest in peanuts.
Peace.
No, I want him to have peanuts.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that that's a thing that happened
that
this
they decapitated a squirrel.
There's so many other issues going on in New York.
Other things that I think slow down the rhetoric because everyone can be like, whoa.
That's crazy. That's too much.
Maybe we shouldn't behead someone's squirrel.
Yeah. Yeah. And then ruin their house looking for the squirrel and then doing that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I think that was also a final, like, I don't know. I think that was, that towards the end, that was
it's that thing where like there's a TikTok, because he was like a TikTok star, right? Or Instagram.
I think so, yeah.
Right, because Peanut was, I knew because I mostly just use Instagram, but Peanut's this like, this kind of internet sensation, and then that ends up overlapping into the political stuff as well.
Yeah.
So all this being connected
and it
this
went
year.
into all the podcast stuff, because I think Joe Rogan and them were talking about it too, and yeah.
The other animal of the year, in second place, I'll give it to Mudang. The little baby hippo.
I love Mudang. Mm-hmm. I haven't gotten enough Mudang content recently. I need some more. Maybe she's just getting bigger.
No,
she's
I
so
hope
cute,
not.
though.
I want to see her like
I want
with
her
the
to
little
be small forever. Yeah, she is going to be
little
small because she's like
pools.
a pygmy hippo, so she's going to be small.
She is?
Yeah, she's like a pygmy.
So
like her mom hippo, like her mommy hippo or whatever, is not that big.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, hopefully Mudang has a great 2025. And then you mentioned an animal I didn't hear about.
Yes.
What's the other one?
Pesto, the penguin. He's like a baby penguin that is huge. Like he's bigger than his parents, and he's a baby. He's giant. I actually don't think
so. He has like the light, like fluffy little baby penguin.
Little baby penguin.
But he's like
look,
a giant one,
but
right?
He's huge. He's like an emperor penguin, and he's just a giant.
So we'll
penguin.
give our third place spot to Pesto the penguin.
Yeah. That's
right?
fine. Yeah, he can have third. He can have third.
Well, Mudang or Pesto?
I love Mudang, so we'll go with Pesto being third. That's fine. He's just so cute, and right, honestly, that might be deserving because like he's in his awkward teen phase right now, just like it's all connected. It's just like all of us.
Yeah, that's funny, being the awkward phase.
Yeah.
Oh, the other, speaking about the awkward teen phase that we're in and that rebel thing, that's where I wanted to go into Sabrina Carpenter this year, because we had Taylor Swift last year, friendship bracelets, all that kind of stuff, and now Sabrina Carpenter with lots of
not friendship bracelets, lots of other interesting things.
But is it bad that every time I see a reel of Sabrina Carpenter, I have to watch it? 'Cause it's so interesting every time.
And I still love her music. It's so catchy. I just
don't
try
listen
to like
to the lyrics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just don't listen to lyrics.
Oh,
but it
crazy
is really catchy
kind of stuff. So, sports, because we had Sabrina Carpenter came from. Let me connect these. I forgot to do that. Okay, Sabrina Carpenter came out of the Taylor Swift stuff because she was like opening for her in the Eras tour. Taylor Swift was like a big reason that the NFL is back now. Sorry, boys. No, you don't want to admit it. She did a lot.
It's true,
for
and a lot of women are watching now, which is good for everybody. Yeah,
I think so. I think that football is like even though I'm not like a super sporty person, I think that overall it's good for Americans and for society. So
I think I'm more of a college football girl, but yes, it's good for everybody to sit and watch something
this
together.
kind of blew my mind. So Taylor Swift, we had the Taylor Swift Super Bowl this year. I was like, whenever I realized that makes sense, Taylor Swift Super Bowl was this year. The thing that I forgot was Usher was the halftime performance this year.
I don't remember
and that felt
even
so
that.
long ago.
I don't even think I watched him perform because I'm saying sorry, Usher. I really liked Usher, I guess probably when I was in middle school. Man, we're really going back to the middle school time.
Yes, we are.
This is all like going
jeans
back to
Usher's
low-rise
here.
jeans, Usher, highlighter, green.
Yes.
Yeah.
Usher was around during like the mint green era.
Oh yeah.
Whoa. It's all connected.
All connected.
So that was
in a loop.
Right. So that was weird this year. But the thing that I liked about football this year, I am glad because I went to UT whenever our team was less than great.
Yeah.
UT was not back. Ever.
They were not back then.
But now they are. And we have Baby Manning on our team, which I love him.
I love Baby Arch.
Baby Arch. I love that. And then the rivalry came back between UT and A&M. So if you're in Texas, that was a big thing this year that happened.
That was so fun. I went to Midnight Yell because in my house, we are a house divided. You're in a house divided too with you and your husband.
Yeah, my husband didn't speak to me that night after it was over.
That was rough. I didn't really know.
It took him like a whole day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it was a rough game.
He was not happy.
And going to College Station the night before for Midnight Yell, which that Midnight Yell was at 5:30. Sorry, I feel like I'm really hating on A&M. Sorry, Greg. But yeah, it was at like 5:30, and they were so adamant that they were gonna win. I mean, they always are, but it was strong.
And then the memes that came out of that because the yell leader with his like feet and like moving his knee and doing the whole thing.
I remember going to Midnight Yell.
I want a time when men are men again, and that was not it.
And they're like, we're so tough. We sent people to World War II. And I was like, not all of you guys are like 19, right now,
I think they probably used to be more masculine.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Even Tony was like, he's like, I see why we don't win anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, Aggies. Step it up, man. This is a challenge for you.
Yeah.
And now if only UT can find a way to freaking beat Georgia, because apparently it's the one thing we can't do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we can't do that. But I am going to the UT. as of now, actually, but when this airs, I'll have gone to the UT Clemson game, and
Wow.
I think they're gonna win.
I'm hoping that the comment section isn't just like rip or something like that.
Yeah, right. I'm like, oh gosh, like, when this airs, I could be so wrong, but I'm going in confidently, and I'm saying they're gonna win.
Yeah, the fact that the year was so packed to where Chris Christie was running for president in the same year that the rivalry came back, they just feel like worlds apart,
There's so many
right?
things that have happened. Yeah, I feel like what was it? I think we were saying a couple days ago that I would say it feels like January to like maybe April was one separate year, and then I would say it
through the summer because it felt like the end of the Olympics was the end of a year, and then a whole other year happened.
Yeah, I feel like there's like been like 2 or 3 years packed like in this one year.
Maybe I feel like 2023 was still in the shadow of COVID, and this is our first year out of that, and I think we're finally making up for all of that time lost.
I would agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like thinking about like the movies and other stuff like that going back, like TV shows, because there was all the writer strikes and stuff that I think could theoretically all be connected. So anyway, here we are now with that.
Texas is back. We're back.
Yeah.
Everything is great.
Well, I have 2 other notable events of this year to also remind everyone and how long of a year it's been. We started off the year with the, what are they called? The Hasidic Jews in New York in the tunnels.
Oh, the tunnels.
That was this year.
That feels like 5 years ago.
Yeah. So
why were they doing that again? Why were they digging tunnels?
That felt like over a year ago. I don't remember the reason. Did we find out the reason?
I don't know if anyone did. We ever? I don't know if we ever found out. But anyway,
that was this year.
That was crazy.
So
I don't know why that happened.
The New York tunnels was a thing, and then the other like awesome thing at the end of the year. This feels like this year was when the SpaceX rocket got caught.
Yes, that was so cool. That was really, really cool. Elon's great. I was so glad too that Elon's like hanging out here in Texas.
This gives us a chance then to talk about what we're looking forward to next year.
Yeah.
So this year, Elon really kind of set his sights on Texas, is now officially going to be like moving all stuff to like Bastrop area.
Yeah, to Bastrop.
So I think that's something I'm hopeful for it. Was it you who sent me the information about how he's like now created an official city in Texas?
Yeah, I can't remember
what it's called. Starbase.
Yeah, Starbase. Okay, so
now there's going to be Starbase, Texas.
Is that the one down South Padre?
Maybe. I didn't even look at it. I just know you.
But he's basically taken over Bastrop too. And I mean, I say that in a good way. Like he has the Boring Company out there, which is the whole thing where they're digging tunnels to prepare to dig tunnels on Mars.
Tunnels are a big theme of 2024.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Everything really is connected.
Is that where he got the idea?
Maybe. No, I think he was working on it a while before. But now they're driving cars through those tunnels, and they have in Bastrop, you can actually go, they have a boring bodega. It's really fun. They have like pottery classes there too.
They need a better name. I'm sorry. You just keep talking about this like boring company with just some boring tunnels.
But it's so funny because it's boring, and then they're actually boring into the earth. Anyway, I thought it was very clever.
Was that the name or why they're... I've never connected
It's called
that.
the Boring Company because they're boring into the earth, right? Is that the right use?
So much smarter than I thought.
Yeah. I've
never connected that, man. Wow.
Anyway, but they have a tunnel.
Sorry, the blonde moment of the year, and it came from me.
Yeah, it really came from you. I'm like, oh, just wait until, I have mine in the next couple minutes here. But what is it? Yeah, they have like these tunnels, and the Boring Company and then their Starlink factory that they have out in Bastrop are connected underground through a tunnel, and they'll just drive cars back and forth.
Do you remember when we were concerned in Texas about having broadband for everyone, and then Elon Musk is just like, Starlink, and everyone goes, wow, this is way better than all the plans and all the money we were going to spend for way less successful internet.
Yeah.
So my prediction for 2024, I think Texas gets changed for the better from the influence of Elon Musk coming into the area.
I would fully agree. Mm-hmm. I think he chose to come here because he loves Texas. I don't feel like he's one of those guys who really wants to change it. I feel like it's just being improved upon, if that makes sense. Like he likes the culture of Texas, as you should. And I feel like he wants that culture to actually like build his company. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's why he picked Bastrop. And also there's been a bunch of, I think he's been talking too about they don't want to move. Oh, and he's moving X out to Bastrop too. So all this stuff is moving out here with the idea that he's like, we're done with the old culture of like LA and New York being these, cultural centers and hubs for everything, or cultural hubs. It's Texas all the way now. which
right.
I love.
And
that.
I think one of the things that was left behind, even though like there were companies that would like from California that have been moving to Austin, but we still have, I think we're lacking some of the skill that are needed for people to fill those jobs if they hadn't brought their employees with them. But I think now with more people moving here, we're going to be able to catch up in terms of like having people who have that kind of technical knowledge to be able to fill those kinds of roles as well.
Totally.
So we'll get there soon. I don't know if that's going to be a 2025 trend, but I do think
probably
Elon will be.
The beginning of it, because I
Right.
could see him. I mean, there's already
He's
been
establishing that school, right?
Yeah, he's establishing he has a schools, I think, down in Starbase too, called Ad Astra, I think it is. And it's basically him investing in the school systems where he is, with the hopes that you're going to kind of train it up the next generation.
Right. So do you have any other predictions for 2025? I claimed Elon. You have to choose a new one.
Oh man, now I have to come up with one. I feel like this like health movement and this kind of like return to tradition in things is going to be a big it's just going to continue. I feel like we've seen that trend. I think you're just going to see it even more now. And I think 2025 is going to be good. Like, just win. I'm going to get tired of winning. Again.
Hey, I'm never tired of winning.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with my, you know how last year I said that 2023 was the year of the girl, 2024 will be the year of the woman. We didn't quite get there. We're in our awkward teen phase. My hope is that we continue to keep growing. And I think the trad movement, and I guess it's not even just the like LARPing trad people anymore.
Yeah.
It's people who legitimately care about their
Want to be,
health,
yeah.
who want to be like just surrounded by more nature. It's not cringy. It's just
Or working on being better people who have
Right.
morals, who have values, like an actual true like,
I feel like people are going to grow
value
up and
system.
mature more.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that is my hope for 2025. And speaking about like growing in that kind of way, do you have any New Year's resolutions that you're having for this year?
I haven't even
And
begun
you
to
cannot
think
name
about it.
anything about like food or exercise. Something
Oh, that's I
different.
feel like everyone's go-to. So that really gets me. I haven't even thought about it.
What was yours last year?
Probably, what was it mine last year? Probably.
Mine was to read more, and I read like
Oh, that's true. I did actually read way more.
I read
and I
like
wanted to.
at least 9 books this year, 9 or 10. Which
That's amazing.
before I wasn't reading once per month, so I'm getting closer to that.
See, I would like to read more. My problem is I do a lot of Audible, which I mean counts.
That
I
counts.
think it
That's how I
counts.
listen to both Dune books. I'll count it
Yes.
for those two.
Also, those Dune Audibles are so great. But yeah, I do a lot of Audible. I would like to just have the time to sit and read. That would be fantastic. But another thing is like I'm just trying to like I feel like save money. I feel like that's going to be easier in this next year with new administration and maybe some changes. But just like actually like, oh, I don't need to get a little sweet treat every now and then. I don't, or not even every now and then. It's really like I'm going to go to Starbucks and get a coffee like
Did you
every
call
day.
it your government mandated
My
sweet treat?
government mandated sweet treat. My sister says that, and I think it's so funny because it makes it sound official and it makes it sound like I deserve it. And I actually, not that I deserve it, that it's mandated.
I don't have a
must
choice.
have it. I don't have a choice. I have
Well,
to get it.
now you will.
And now I do have a
RFK
choice.
is going to be like, you have a government mandated healthy treat. Or
That's my
something
other
else.
favorite trend of this year recently, where people are like putting like Uncrustables and they're like, it's gone. And they're like, Lunchables, it's gone. I don't even know, whatever other Doritos.
He'll be like,
gone.
Michelle Obama, you thought you could do
You
this.
thought, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think mine, I definitely want to see if I can at least read 1 book per month so I can like actually say, yeah, I read at least 12 this year. It'd be nice for more. And I think I want my spiritual life to be better. I was a little bit distracted this year. I had a whole wedding this year.
Yeah,
What
you
the-
got like married, so you had a lot of stuff going on. Yeah.
So anyway, that's my New Year's resolution is to
like
pray a
things.
little bit more.
See,
Maybe
that,
there'll be
that
religious
goes to
books to read.
my trend that, people are going to be trad and they're going to get, better, into their like,
Into their faith.
into their faith.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're going to,
There's growth in
Make
all aspects of life.
yes.
Well, I think that this has been an excellent, busy, full year. Very eventful. I have
Very.
no idea how eventful 2025 is going to be. I have so many high hopes for across the board, everything from cultural, movies, TV shows that we might see. I'm interested to see how that intersects with the political realm. But Emma, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having
I
me.
have no one else I'd want to spend the end of my year with even more.
fun.
Sorry, Tony, but
Oh, sorry.
but we have to. It's for the girlies. So
For the
one more
girlies,
cheers
one
to
more cheers.
2024.
Woohoo.
And then one more for 2025.
2025. There we
All
go.
right, everybody. We will see you next year. Thank you so much for joining us this whole year for this episode. I will see you in the next year.